Hi, I'm Brianna.
And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So the numbers are in. It was just reported a couple hours ago that the Ward versus Kovalev pay-per-view numbers are around 160,000 pay-per-view buys. Obviously, that's not a huge number, but there was really no expectations for this fight. We already knew that this was a fight that should have been on HBO. I've said that before. I mean, this is just like the Terrence Crawford versus Victor Postal fight all over again. The only difference is in the Postal fight, they really had no chance. They had no choice, I should say, but to put the fight on pay-per-view because HBO couldn't afford to put the fight on regular HBO. Now, I don't know, maybe this was the case in this fight as well. I really don't understand why it had to be on pay-per-view. I understand the significance. There's no doubt about it. This was the most relevant and significant fight of the year. You had two pound-for-pound fighters undefeated going up against each other. There's no doubt about it. It was the biggest fight of the year, significant-wise. But in terms of these guys being stars, you know, I think this fight, it could have easily been on HBO, and they would have did great numbers if it was on HBO. But nevertheless, 160,000, that's still more than what Gennady Golovkin did against Lemieux on pay-per-view. Not only that, but the interesting thing is the difference when people try to compare how a Terrence Crawford did against Postal or how Ward and Kovalev did versus a Gennady Golovkin or someone like that. Once again, what you guys have to understand is no one is promoting Ward and Golovkin like they are the saviors of boxing. No one is saying, you know, now that Mayweather is gone, Ward or Kovalev, they're going to be bigger than Floyd or they're going to be just as big. They're going to save the sport of boxing, etc., etc. No one is saying these things about Ward and Kovalev. This is what they were saying about Gennady Golovkin. So you have to understand, all this proves, these numbers, all it really proves is Gennady Golovkin is far from being a star. Ward and Kovalev, they're far from being stars. That's all these numbers really suggested. Once again, I truly believe they need to, pull a page out of PBC and Al Heyman's book and start putting a lot more fights on regular TV. If they can afford to do it, I guess. Because this would have been a great fight, once again, to just be on HBO. Now, I do understand, there's a point where fighters, they want to make that transition from just a regular HBO fighter to a pay-per-view star. You have to be in there with the right type of opponents. You have to continue getting signature wins. And I will tell you this, we already know that regardless of what the numbers were in this fight, we know that a Ward versus Kovalev rematch is going to be way bigger than the first fight. Now, once again, if it were up to me, I would still prefer to watch the rematch on regular HBO. Give more people a chance to watch the fight instead of having to fork out extra money. Also, it didn't help that the fight wasn't extremely promoted the way it possibly could have been. I truly believe that if Andre Ward was with Al Heyman in the PBC series, I think he would probably get even more exposure through their brand. So, things are what they are. And I heard that Andre Ward, his contract is up with HBO. I don't know if he's going to stay with HBO or, like I said, go to Al Heyman or go with someone else, but it'll be interesting to see what he does next. So you know what, I'll go ahead and end this video by saying this. I want to reiterate. Once again, there was no pressure. There was no Golovkin type of pressure for Ward and Kovalev to do monster numbers. I mean, even Andre Ward said it himself. He said he may or may not ever become a superstar in the sport of boxing because it really depends on that type of opponent that you get in the ring and beat. We all know that Floyd Mayweather, what propelled his career was beating Oscar De La Hoya. So it just depends on who you get. Canelo Alvarez, he became a bigger star just losing to Floyd Mayweather. So, nobody knew who Buster Douglas was, obviously, until he knocked out Mike Tyson. So, that's basically how it works in the sport of boxing. So this is pretty much what Andre Ward was saying. But I tell you this, though, at least for Andre Ward, let's just say, hypothetically, if Andre Ward were to possibly get Golovkin in the ring, which we know Golovkin will probably never fight Andre Ward, but if he decided to fight Andre Ward, if Ward were to beat a name like Golovkin, that would definitely help enhance Andre Ward's superstar status, or his star status right now, because he's not a superstar. And then if he was to possibly fight Adonis Stevenson, who knows? Maybe Andre Ward and Kovalev, maybe both of them are thinking, you know what? I want to take a couple more fights before I take the rematch, just to help build up the rematch. If they were to do that, I think that would make the rematch even bigger. I mean, even if they were to turn around and fight in March of next year, the rematch is still going to be bigger than the first fight. I'm not trying to predict any big pay-per-view numbers, because I don't think it would be big pay-per-view numbers. But I do think, and I know, it would be bigger than the first fight. So if Andre Ward, if he were to beat Kovalev in a rematch, possibly fight Adonis Stevenson, and even get a Gennady Golovkin, that no doubt would propel Andre Ward's career. And same thing goes for Kovalev. If Kovalev were to win the rematch, that would propel Kovalev's career as well. Especially if Kovalev could get a fight with Gennady Golovkin. That would be epic. So, once again, I'll close with saying this. The numbers obviously don't surprise me. I was not anyone saying, oh, wow, this is their opportunity to show how big of stars Ward and Kovalev are. Because, I always thought this fight should have been on regular HBO. Because I know that these guys are not big stars like that yet. But you got to start somewhere. And I guess that's what the promotional companies were thinking. So that's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.